Hey everybody, David Skarika, stock chart of the day here. So we're gonna do because I haven't done one for a couple days now. There's two reasons for this. Number one, I really had to trade something that was a big trade, and it had to kind of watch the stock all day. So I kind of and then secondly, like sometimes when I have a video doing well, like my only investment you have to make video on India is doing very well. It's one of the best videos I've ever done. It's getting over 800. I hope we can get to 1,000 views. And I still not really doing much in terms of advertising, you know, that sort of thing on the YouTube channel. So I'm pretty happy about that. That's happening all organically. So today we're going to look at two stocks, both that were leaders and kind of a tanked on earnings here. First is Meta, formerly Facebook. And I guess it still kind of is Facebook in a way. But you can see gapping down, actually almost filling the gap from the January earnings. I'm going to talk about this in a second. Basically problems with the outlook, all this sort of thing, et cetera, et cetera. Even though they were pretty good, um, because of the AI enhanced sales and this sort of thing, right? And the legacy record first quarter revenue. One thing we could see is, uh, the price to earnings is actually, it will be even down even more because that's as of yesterday's close. So with it down 13, 14%, that will bring the price to earnings down to about 26, which is, pretty reasonable, for a growth stock. But, you can see the stock has, gone up. So the question is, are we just kind of seeing a short-term kind of consolidation here before another move higher? Is this the start of a topping pattern, kind of like what happened in 2022? So that's what we have to see. So I would think that even after this, we're not going to see a huge, just straight down move in it. Because again, fundamentally, the earnings were like still strong. There was just some problems with people's outlooks, and a lot of it's just profit taking. Because look at this, Meta fell, from nearly $400 to $90 a share during the 2022 bear market. It essentially has gone up to, five straight up to over 500. And also, there's something I want to point out here that always kills me about these earnings plays is that, see this gap up here in the last earnings in January? What kills me about it is, I used to trade Netflix a lot. I did a lot of straddle trades on Netflix, option trades on Netflix, bullish, bearish, etc. And Netflix would have one quarter that was a disaster, and then the next quarter would be exactly the opposite. And I was like, how can things change so much quarter to quarter? So that's what always kills me about these earnings is that how can like everything be rosy and perfect and then change that much in 3 months? Now, if there's like a stock market crash or a big downturn in the economy, okay, I see it, right? But like really not much has changed macro wise between the end of January and now. So it always kills me with these companies and these kind of earnings on that is that like, yeah, like how can things like you can see over the past year, like that was the last quarter was easily the biggest gap up. This is easily the biggest gap down. So it always kind of kills me, right? So then we'll look at Netflix here. And by the way, this is barchart.com. This is an excellent site. I have actually got to subscribe to it. They post really good stuff on Twitter too. So, and you can see Netflix, rebounded a little bit after those bad earnings, and then it was down again. Today, it's going to be down in pre-market. Kind of everything, all tech stuff's kind of sell off with Facebook. I think the Nasdaq futures are down about 200. As I do this, I'm doing this one of those early morning ones, about 5 in the morning. Got up around 4, just couldn't get back to sleep. So I said, you know what, I might as well do my update now, especially because I know I have a lot of European people watch this in Europe. And of course, over there, it's, in the UK, it's about 10 in the morning. And in the rest of Europe, it's about 11. So, or Western Europe. So anyhow, again, see Netflix that. So like one thing about Netflix is I think a lot of their growth, you can see the last few quarters where these gap ups. See, a lot of their growth wasn't really organic growth. It was, they stopped the password sharing. I know because I had a Netflix account for a while and I had the top tier one for whatever it is, $15 a month. And I had like, the only person that wasn't using it was me. And I had like, like a relative in Canada using it, a friend in Florida using it, a friend down here in the Bahamas using it, so they were doing all the password sharing. And I was kind of like, part of the reason I wanted to end it was like, look, I don't have any interest in this. And I'm kind of like, not that $15 a month is a large amount of money, but I'm like, I'm not using this. All I'm doing is subsidizing everyone else I know to use it, It actually gave me a way out when they stopped this passcode sharing. I just told those people you can't log in anymore. They don't allow you to do that. So that's the whole point. Like I said, I had three other people using this on top of myself. And it's like, well, now all of a sudden those people would have to get subscriptions, and that makes turns one subscription mine into four new ones, right? Or three new ones. So that's kind of the whole point of why they did this. So I think that's over with, and that was drove most of the increase in subscriptions. So Netflix could be, and it actually failed above its 2021 highs. So Netflix could be kind of an interesting short here. And I'm looking at this, the price earnings is 38. You can see again, one thing I do have to say about these stocks, because they have grown so much, they're not like the crazy valuations they were of years ago, when they were trading at over 100 times earnings, et cetera, et cetera. So I think now the question is, can they keep the E side of the equation up? But I would definitely think that Netflix might have finally seen kind of its topping here, because they're going to have to try to grow other ways through advertising and stuff like that. Because on the lower tier services, they're always advertising. But the issue I have with that, and like the issue I have with some of these streaming services, is when I watch DAZN, I watch sports on that, or I watch Peacock, I watch Premier League on that. That's a NBC run services, and I just have like DAZN does it just generically with your regular subscription. Peacock, I just have the lowest tier service because I just watch a few hours of Premier League every week. They have advertising on it, and Paramount Plus does that too. And it's like, isn't the whole point of paying these subscription fees? I guess you could say, okay, you pay for cable and there's still commercials, right? So I guess it's the same kind of model. But I always thought, like, especially when you're specifically like, okay, I've got Peacock Plus just so I can watch Premier League. Yeah, and you're still going to have commercials, at halftime and that kind of thing too on it. It's like, isn't the whole point to not have ads in your face? Because I know one thing I find annoying about DAZN, and DAZN basically does a lot of soccer and NFL football, is that when I start the game, DAZN has a couple little commercials that are like 30 seconds each, and you have to watch those before the game starts. And I find that to be very, very annoying. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about my viewing experience, but I just wanted to show you two of these big tech stocks have not done well so far in earnings. Of course, the big one is going to be probably NVIDIA. NVIDIA is going to probably, I think NVIDIA, we'll look what NVIDIA is going to report, because Yahoo Finance is usually the one that shows it. So NVIDIA's earnings date is May 22nd, so we're basically about a month off. So that will probably be the big one. And that kind of fits into my whole potential blow off and crash scenario. Like I said, it's a very low probability scenario, but like again, like 1887, we're continuing to see this kind of correction here in the April-May period, and it would end, towards the latter part of May, if I'm correct. And maybe the NVIDIA earnings is the thing that starts pushing the market higher, right? So, anyhow, maybe that's it. NVIDIA now has come down. It's off almost $200 from its highs now. So it's not that it's still out of these stocks. It's still pretty expensive. You can see it's actually under 2 trillion market cap now. So anyhow, I just thought I'd show you that the Netflix and Amazon, or sorry, Netflix and Meta have done very poor. Of course, we're gonna have a slew more of earnings. Actually, let's look at what Amazon has. Let's go. Let's just quickly look at Amazon. See, I don't really trade these things anymore, so I don't follow them as close as I used to. Yeah, Amazon's next week, April 30th, and then we'll look at Apple. I think Apple will probably be any day now, because Apple usually reports about this time. Oh, Apple's a little later this time, May the 2nd. So yeah, so over the next, roughly week or so. Oh, and here's the last thing I was going to show you, to tell you, and I'll do this when I come out on Friday with stock chart of the day. Okay, I talked about my special deal. It will end Friday. I kind of like, because I've been so busy, I kind of lost track of ending the special deal. So those of you in are still getting the old rate. So, but I'm going to end it Friday. So people who are interested in the $1,000 lifetime subscription or the discounted rates on the monthly subscription, you can do it Friday. Okay. You can get that by Friday, and then on Saturday morning, I'll probably cut it off. I'll change it for either you'll have to do two payments of $1,000, one payment of $2,000, or the 100 a month, the 200 a month will be doubled in time frame. Will be or sorry, the 60 a month and 100 a month will be double the time frame. it will be 24 and 48 months to get a lifetime subscription rather than paying them over 12 and 24 months. So anyhow, but anyway, I'll talk about that more on the Friday update. So today just wanted to talk about Netflix and Meta kind of gapping down. And of course, that's negative because when you talk about the Magnificent Seven, I don't think Netflix is considered one of those, but like definitely Meta is one. And a couple of them being really Meta, Amazon, and Nvidia were kind of the few that were really holding up. We've seen Apple and Tesla perform quite poorly. So the Magnificent Seven was slowly becoming the Magnificent Three or Four, and now two of those that were holding up are kind of done. And of course, even though it hasn't had its earnings yet, Nvidia has kind of really waned here too. So we're kind of seeing the weakness in those. But the question to me is, this is just a consolidation before another move higher in the summer. So everybody take care, and I hope you enjoyed this update.